Hello Aquarius, welcome to your reading. My name is Maria and this is a tarot intuitive story for you if you have Aquarius anywhere in your chart, or if you're a cross-watcher, or even if something else drew you to this video. This energy can still be speaking to you. If it resonates, then surely you were guided here. It's a timeless reading, so it's for when you find it. It's a story with a timeline, so you might have to switch around the past, present tenses, but other than that, it's just really if it resonates. So 3 decks on the table: the Cosmic Creatures, the Zen Tarot and the Muse Tarot, and we start out with the Bee Spirit, which is you in this reading. You're coming out as having found some new project, a new job, a new passion, a new interest, a new person. Something that is it's both nurturing, it's tasty, it's really sparks your interest. It's incredibly seducing, interesting. It's really something that you want to just completely bury your head in. And so it's just really like a bee finding this big beautiful flower and just sucking out all of the nectar, and sort of course also being a worker bee. So that's also why I think this might be a work thing, but you'll know probably as we get into the reading. So you found something that is really exciting to you, and that has a lot of promise. And yes, it's full of there's another deck, the Animal Spirit Oracle, that speaks about the bee spirit as sweet results await, and that really comes out with this one too, like just the sweetness of it, that is really nurturing, and you're very excited about this. So, and it's sparking something in you, because you're sort of you're venturing into something new, or you're wanting to, or you ventured into this. You sort of started a new journey, it's just completely fresh-faced and ready to go, and really hopeful and trusting, and willing probably to go into this for well, I don't know if you're thinking about the long haul, but it could very well be. It's at least you're all up for it. You want to go, and it also looks like it's kind of a relief. You're leaving, or you left a situation that was not really suited to you, and where you maybe had to put on a show, or pretend to be something you are not, or hide something that you actually are. This almost looks to me like you sort of just not having the power or the strength to keep explaining to the muggles what it is that you're doing, and just going full on with all of your magic, or you've just had enough of some persona that really doesn't fit you at all, some mold that you can't take being contained within anymore, and so you've left that, and stepped into this new thing, found this flower that is really exciting to you. And the conditioning card and the Fool card, these two, they come out clarified by the Ace of Voices and the 10 of Inspiration. So this looks to me like you sort of turning just one last time, and just looking at the thing you're leaving, and then the owl continuing forward. It's just telling me that you've left some situation fairly recently, sort of freshly at the point when we meet you in the story, and moving forward as something else in a way. And the 10 of Inspiration tells me that you're very quickly being very ambitious about this person or thing or project or job, and possibly also in the danger zone of becoming overly invested very fast, just in terms of well, in any term, I guess, but it looks to me like maybe taking on a lot very quickly, or because one moment you were sort of just stepping into the journey, and the second moment you're carrying quite a lot of burdens uphill. So I don't know if this could also be sort of a tendency you have, that you, once you start a new project, you just become very ambitious right away, and you sort of just start carrying a lot of burdens, or you really work, or you really invest into the relationship. And I don't know if it has, if it becomes a little much. It might, but that's sort of at least in the beginning how you're going about it. So in this situation, there has been somebody that sees you and is quite surprised, maybe even shocked or taken aback by you. So they look like this on the table. So this one, seeing you, is quite surprised. This comes out as another person, as somebody that you are loyal to, or that is loyal to you, or that has some sort of loyalty maybe to a third party, that becomes maybe a little difficult once you enter the scene. There is something about some loyalty in this card. It could also be you stepping into a scene where you maybe there's somebody that you, a mentor or somebody you look up to, and or it could even be somebody you don't really know, but you've sort of you've known of them, and you sort of you step into this environment where they are, and they're like, who are you? What's this? They're sort of a little taken aback, but there is some loyalty that this one has, or that you have towards that's sort of playing a part here. Now, their reaction to being surprised at meeting you is quite the big energy. You're sparking some sort of awakening in them, opening their mind. The transformation and the awareness cards are two quite powerful energies. They're really big energies. They're sort of major arcana, both of them, and they're very, very high level cards, speaking about incredible change. So but in the depth, so to speak. So it might not necessarily look like that on the surface, although it might. But it does start changing something. It's almost like how is it Carl Jung who speaks about when two personalities meet, it's a chemical reaction. So it's like pouring two things into a glass, and then a third thing arises. That's certainly happening to them. Something about you is sparking quite the transformation in them, and that comes out clarified by the Three of Materials, which looks to me as their them being maybe a little bit in doubt as to whether they want to be on good terms with you, or it came out as, well, they're not completely sure. This is a community card. It's about belonging and community, but it has a tendency also to come out a little bit as a pyre, as a sacrifice, as people being sacrificed. That's just sometimes how I see it. And so I don't know if this person immediately knows whether they want to do one thing or the other, now that they're seeing you, or if this could be somebody that you know very well, that you have some loyalty to, or they have something to you, and they see you starting on this new journey and being completely into it and completely maybe lost, and into that new thing, that flower that you found, and they're sort of like, okay, what should I actually do? Should I wait this out? Should I cut them off? Should I, they're trying to sort of figure out how to deal with this, because they're a little bit taken aback still, and they're also probably taken aback from what it's doing to them to witness you. So that's their reaction, and that brought you, or brings you, into, I guess, a feeling of being a little left out, or well, you come out with the praying mantis and the isolation card. Excuse me. So it looks to me like you're wishing for this one to not be so stunned, or to sort of find a peace with what you're doing, or to welcome you. Or this could also be somebody, if you started a new job, this might be the person you want to impress in your new job, and they're sort of a little, they're not reacting with admiration as the first thing, at least. They're more like just surprise, right? So you come out here looking like you would really want to be on good terms with this dog. You that's what you want. You might be very loyal to them, or vice versa, but you are feeling isolated from them, and this could also be mirroring them. They might feel sort of isolated from you, so your feelings might be slightly, or let's say actually that's what you're feeling. You're unsure as to whether you've been left out in the cold or not, and you are maybe picking up a little bit of something that they're unsure about, but you're just you are sort of, I think, misinterpreting it, because this comes out as very warm and you're interpreting it as very cold, and it just gets you in your mind. You're really in a head trip about it, or you were, or you are gonna be. Because it's you can't really figure it out. You really want maybe their attention, or their acknowledgement, or their continued friendship or love, or whatever it is. You also want that flower. You still want to do that thing. So you're a little like, can't I have both? and feeling shut out because they're not really reacting. I think you were hoping for a reaction or something, or you can't get a hold of them. So it does look like it's a little bit of a misunderstanding, because they're feeling like this, and you think that this is happening, and you're very, I think, frustrated, distraught about it. You really like their whatever it is that you would really like, still loyalty maybe. And so you come out with the Queen of Voices. So I think you're trying to maybe overanalyze it. It might not be complete panic, although these crows, some of them look a little flustery, but you could just be overanalyzing. And I think also you might have a tendency to see it a little bit on the negative side, and that could just be because it sort of sparks a little bit of fear in you. Because this does look a little, just the colors and the whole thing, it looks a little scary. So you're up in your head, you're sort of in a head trip about it. But this other person, this dog, it is under transformation. It's changing. It's coming to new awarenesses. It's in a process, which could be literally just one day, if we're talking about that, or it could be, it's not a longer process, but it's just sort of their initial reaction is changing them from the dog to the cat. And I think that the first part might be very quick, and then they reach this, and then they stay here for a little while, which might also be why you're freaking out. You're freaking out because they seem a little changed, or they're reacting in a way you didn't expect. And that was my dog that got a shock from something. Yeah, so they're turning into this, and you're a little freaked out by why they cat suddenly, and it was like, so like they were a dog in the middle of the day, but now that they've seen you engage with that flower, they're suddenly a cat in the night. And it's just, they're sort of just showing another side of themselves because the situation has changed. You have changed because you became this super happy worker bee, and you also went from being, I guess, in sheep's clothing to sort of showing who you are. So they might be, that is sort of, that is changing them too. If you're sort of entangled, then of course it would. Big change in you would also spark a big change in them, and or it just makes them show you another side of themselves. So they show up as the cat, and how this cat comes out is just, it's not averse to you at all. It's just cautious. It sort of has its, you can see this from the pose, its paw up, and it's just, it just wants to see this play out a little bit, or it would like to sort of find out who you are in your new persona or your new environment, the new you. But it is also curious. I mean, it's looking, but it's just cautious. So it's not necessarily the things that you thought. You thought maybe that you were thrown out in the cold and there was a reason, and maybe that reason was really something very shadowy, something very unflattering for you or them, or it could literally just be your insecurities that sort of flare up because of this feeling of being shut out. But that's actually not really what's happening. They're just a little cautious, but curious. And so they're not speaking right away. They're not reacting. They're not really giving you anything. Because they just need a little bit of time to figure out what it is that you're doing and who you are now, or who you are. And so that's what they're doing, and it's actually kind of innocent. It's not what you might, it's not any bad conclusion that you might reach here if you're really, really in a head trip and over analyzing. It's not that. And really, on the other side of this nothingness, of maybe the silence from this one's, who was a dog but is now a cat, side, the muse of emotions comes out, and it does kind of look like they're gonna come out realizing that you two actually do belong together, that you're kind of two peas in a pod, and that and that, yes, just that you belong together, you do, you're entangled, or you're right for each other, you're made of the same stuff, you fit. So that is really what that's the conclusion they're gonna reach. But they're just gonna take their sweet time, because they just need to, and I think probably from this situation, I think it's reasonable enough. It's just you that's sort of having a little bit of a panic attack, or being jumping to conclusions, or being a little maybe impatient. But really, they are gonna realize that they love you, or they like you, or they want you, or you belong together, or whatever it is, depending on who you're playing the situation out with and how the situation is playing out. It is really gonna end very well. Excuse me. So in the meantime, there's a piece of advice. While there is this void space, while they're in the void, or you're both in the void with each other, maybe a long silence, Spirit is advising you to not do a couple of things. So you come out with the wolf, and this is advice as to don't be needy. I mean, I feel so weird saying this to Aquarius. It's not really your jam, but I mean, it does happen once in a while, right? And it does happen maybe when you feel very insecure and you get on sort of a shaky ground. You do have that, you know, in you to also become that. So Spirit is saying, don't be needy. Don't call them all the time. Don't sit howling at the moon. Do your thing, you know, be in your bee spirit, your worker bee nectar thing. Do that thing. Don't be needy. It's also saying, don't stare them down. This frog really looks like it's just answer me, or just doing psychological warfare, staring at them. So it's kind of like, don't stare at your phone either all the time, waiting for a message from them, because that energy is being transmitted and it's sort of blocking the airwaves in a way. So also don't do that. And don't think the worst of the situation, because there's really no need. Don't think that everything is lost and it's going to be terrible, because that's not how it's going to play out at all. So keep your emotions in check. Don't do this. Instead, here's the advice, how the reading is ending. You come out with the two voices, and today this looks to me like what I was noticing was these two women, or this mirror image, who have their hair sort of entangled. So it's really untangle yourself from the situation and all of your over-analyzing thoughts and all of, if there's a sort of all of that, try to untangle it. Just release it with peace, bless it, release it, let it go. Do these other things that you know, be the bee, do the thing. And sort of untangle yourself, because it will make it much easier also for the other one to sort of to just I think maybe see you clearly, or understand what you are, or find their way into, you know, that happy ending that you're gonna have. So if you can, untangle yourself and instead work or do the thing. Just work on your craft, or do the thing, or enjoy the person, or do what it is that you're doing with that bee energy. Do that, maybe preferably not in a way where you're taking on too much or doing it overly, overdoing it, but just enjoy it, juggle it, have fun with it, be in your playful, working, flow state self, and this cat will come around. It just needs a little bit of time, and the more you untangle yourself from it, don't invest too many thoughts and emotions in it, the easier it will be for the cat to come to you. You know how a cat would, right? Doesn't come if you're like then it's just like, no, not interested. But the second you're like, okay, I'm gonna do my thing, the cat is like, so just treat it like a cat, and all will be well. It will. Yeah. This was your reading, Aqua. I hope you liked it. I hope you got something out of it. Yeah, and if you liked it, if you got something out of it, let me know. And thank you for being here. Come back next time. Bye.